do this, okay? Come on, you guys are like the executors, the engineers, the maestros of management, wizards of workflow, all of that. So, good morning, Bangalore.
Yep, that's the kind of energy we require today. And ensure it stays this way, right? We have brought in a short icebreaker. Uh, where is the
This is all scripted. This is also the icebreaker, okay?
we have an icebreaker called guess it, right? Don't put your minds, just guess the word on the screen, right? See, you get it.
Smart.
See,
Wow.
smart people. Nope.
Misunderstood. Yeah,
Misunderstood.
right.
Forget. Nice. Nice.
I think all of you play a lot of Instagram games. Something to question, but okay. So that was fun. Now I will come back to my official professional tone and say it out loud again. Welcome to the one and only promising, thrilling, inspiring, the first ever TPM Meetup at TPM Trails happening here today. For the second line also, you have to do equal numbers of claps, okay? So I am Jayashree Chatterjee, a staff TPM at Intuit, and I'll be your host for today.
And I'm Animesh Ghosh. I am also TPM at Bazaar Voice, and I'll also be your host today. It fills me with pride to be here today with like 100 of the brightest minds in TPM here at the heart of Bangalore, heart of India's Silicon Tech Valley in Bangalore, Intuit Bangalore.
So I know some of you flew here today from different cities. Some of you battled the Bangalore traffic. And some of you actually teleported here from a Zoom call. To all of you, we see you, we appreciate you, and thank you for making it here today.
So to kick things off, we'll invite two of our stellar TPMs who have run the show from behind the scenes so far. And these are like two stellar people that we have in our TPM universe who's leading the India chapter today.
First up, we have Malvika Sinha. Please give it up for her, who's been powerfully running the India chapter of TPM Trails. Malvika Sinha, and she's also the development director of EA Sports.
And next up, we have a real MVP who has helped us to get this today at Intuit. Please welcome Mitesh, TPM leader at Intuit. The slides.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I have worked with so many of you, but those who don't know me, I'm Malvika. I'm a development director at EA Sports. Before EA, I have worked in Walmart, Stripe, Intel. And yeah, I also drive TPM Trails from India. So I have a small script. I'll just go over that. It won't take much time before we get started. Cool. So I would really like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Nero and Intuit for providing us this space for our event today. I mean, we have been trying to make it possible from a very long time. So yeah, thanks a lot. Cool. So before we go into the event, I would like to talk about the TPM Trails and how it started. So back in 2015 and 2016, bunch of TPMs from Bay Area started to meet more often to talk about the challenges in the role of technical program management. And they realized that how different this role is treated across the industries, and realized that we need some standardization, some place where TPMs can come and talk and chat about the issues that they go through. And that is how the TPM trail was started. And when pandemic hit us, it moved to the virtual events. So initially they used to meet very regularly in Bay Area, and it was a small group of people. But that was one good thing of COVID, that everything moved virtual. And when it moved virtual, people from all across starting to join that community. And that is how I joined this community in 2021. So I joined this incredible community in 2021 and quickly noticed that we don't have such platform in India. And that is when I started leading it from India. I started with virtual meetups, virtual seminars, and then we have our first ever TPM meetup here in person. So yeah, welcome all. Enjoy your time. We have stellar speakers who are lined up. There are few notes and few tips that I would like to share. First, connect with everyone. Talk, because that is very important. Do not talk about work. So how will you do it? If you look into your swag bag, there are networking cards. Use those cards. There are special questions there. Ask those questions to people. Do not ask, where do you work? No. Okay? Use that. Second, connect with people on LinkedIn. So how will you do it? Of course, you can search, but that takes time. So if you go to your LinkedIn search bar, there is a QR code that comes for your profile. Use that, connect with people. The last tip is connect with TPM Trail on these communities. Slack is usually used to discuss things about the template, challenges, etc. Discord is mostly for if you're looking for a switch, etc. You can have those discussion and opportunities there. LinkedIn is to understand what are the next events that are coming up. So yeah, over to you, Mitesh. Have fun, enjoy, and do let me know how it goes and what you feel. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Malvika. Thank you and welcome all for the first ever TPM meetup made possible by Neeru, our very own sponsor for the event. And she graciously accepted, helped us bring her vision to life. So thank you for the opportunity, Neeru. I have not prepared a speech, but I have a small introduction for Neeru, and then Neeru will take up and give her keynote speech. So we all know Neeru is a seasoned technology leader with wealth of experience across software development, technical program management, and leadership. She's built teams across different areas. She is passionate about building teams, driving them through transformations using technology, and she's been doing that across different organizations for last 20 years. So I'll welcome her on stage, give her the mic for her keynote speech. So big round of applause for Neeru.
Hey, thank you. Oh no. Thank you, Mitesh. Thank you, Malvika. Firstly, congratulations to all of you who conquered, the Bangalore traffic, and some of you flew in as well. So I'm so thankful, grateful that you made this time, and welcome. Um, I do have some talking points here that I prepared. I wanted to think through what I'm talking. I'll see if I stay honest. But I wanted to start with just a story of how this began for me. Mitesh was saying, this is my vision as well. Everyone knows about our annual goal setting process, right? As part of my This is my first year in Intuit, by the way. And as part of my goal setting, my manager, he leads Intuit India, Saurabh Saxena. We were going through our business goals and it came to personal development goals. He said, what do you think, or personal goals? He said, what do you think you want to do as a personal goal? I came up with this and that. He's like, no, think about something you're really passionate about, you're driven. And I paused for a minute and I said, you know what, Saurabh? I would really like to have an inter-company TPM con, some place where all of us could get together and talk about the challenges and, the different nuances of this particular role. He said, when you were talking about it, I could see your face light up. I wrote that down. I was like, okay, it's a goal. And then I started to think, I wrote it down as a goal. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I forgot that I have an amazing Intuit India PMO community core team. Some of you are here today: Mitesh, Abhishek, Kusuma, Param. Sorry, I'm on the stage, so if I'm missing your name, I'm only making an error because I'm a little conscious. But I just shared that. I was like, hey guys, this is what I'm thinking. Lo and behold, I don't know how things came about. And they're like, hey, there's this thing called TPM Trails, and they're trying to do this. And I'm like, okay, let's find synergies. And so this happened. And I sit back and I'm like looking at all of you. I'm just thinking, how? I think I can only think of one thing. We are TPMs. We bring bold visions to reality, right? We overcome challenges, we navigate ambiguity, and we just make things happen. That's what we do. So, yeah, I just, so where do we go from here? I'm like, we are execution masters, right? Like, that's something we've been doing. Um, what I wanted to use this summit today for is seed a couple of thoughts with you, right? Like, what could be the future of technical program management? Um, we have been good at execution, right? That's something we're known for. We make things happen. Um, but instead of just answering, like, how do we do this? Why don't we elevate our contributions? Starting this year, starting now. Oftentimes, you are one of the most seasoned leaders in the room when you're talking about any of our programs. So why don't you just ask, why don't you even go ahead and ask, what are we doing and why are we doing? Shape that. Elevate your contribution from just execution to strategy influence, right? You can do this. You just have to speak up. So that would be the first thing. The second one, I think it's everyone knows that we've been talking about it, right? Like the role of AI in what we do and how we do. Use it every day. It's the best assistant you will ever find. Never cribs, just does, works all the time. Most of us are either individual contributors or have been individual contributors, right? We know we are always working with constraints, often enough to do and not enough working hours. But use that assistant. You will find efficiencies. You will find that you can do things faster. So that those are the two things that I would like to leave you with today. Um, just you know, find yourself as you challenge yourself to find a seat at the table because that's where you belong with all of the tech and business leaders. So that's what I would ask of you. Sit back, relax now, have some fun as we here listen. We have an amazing lineup today, but yeah, do not forget to have fun. For all of the speakers who are joining us today, thank you so much for making time, and a very warm welcome to you as well. Over to you guys. Thank you.
I think, thank you so much, Neeru. Your sentence that we are TPMs, we bring bold realities, bold vision into realities is something that's going to stick very long with a lot of us. So thank you so much, Neeru.
I believe as your host, it's my moral responsibility to keep this space lit up. So the AI world has become very fascinating today. So let's deep dive into the AI world.
And who better to guide us on this journey than Ms. Suneeta Virubhotla, a distinguished speaker, a TPM leader at Uber with 20 plus years of experience in software delivery and program management. She currently drives engineering services at Uber while also serving on the Women at Uber Global Board, balancing execution and stakeholder alignment like a pro that she is. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Suneeta.
Good morning. Louder, yeah. All of you had breakfast? Okay. See, I didn't start as a TPM. Anybody who started their first job was a TPM here? Wow. Okay. We should cheer up for her, yeah? So, TPM as a role probably is well known in the industry for the last 10 years. So, all of us would have started as programmers. In like, how many from coding background? Who started off? Wow. Okay. Okay. And how many are working as TPMs but never coded in their life? Wow. Okay. So all of us are here with mixed backgrounds. We have seen it all. We know what it is. Over the years, we have built systems that work like humans. Okay. We are the ones who built AI over like last 20 years. And now we are worried if AI will take our jobs. So what do we do? What do we want to do? So let's see. Today I want to cover some basics of Gen AI. I'm not here to teach machine learning, but I just want to give a glimpse of what we are talking about, what is Gen AI all about, what is machine learning, why, where is it coming from. Some of the words we synonymously use, some basics of how LLM works. All of you are using ChatGPT. Anybody who has not used ChatGPT so far? Okay, fine. Anybody who has not used Perplexity? Okay, some of you. Okay, all right. And what does it take for us to stay relevant and do more? Okay, yes. Okay, so this is, as I said, I don't want to do a tutorial of AI here, but I just want to be very, very clear on people's understanding on what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, what is deep learning, and where does Gen AI fit in, okay? So we wanted to build systems that can think like us, that can perform like us, but at a much higher scale than a human brain. So then the subset, then how did we do it? We used machine learning and we did it. And after that, we wanted deeper learning because whatever we do, even TPMs, we want to do at our best. Lot of deep learning models. And using deep learning models, what did we do? We came up with Gen AI. Even more than Gen AI, if I say ChatGPT, that's what people will more easily relate to. Okay, so when I talk about Gen AI, what are we talking about? We are talking about large language models. So it's about predicting the next token, right? It's all about predicting tokens. How quickly can you predict and how does it work and how does it give you answers? So if I have to understand, hey, what gets into ChatGPT, what gets inside an LLM, so it's all about getting all the data. Pre-training is something that you have already heard. So it's about converting into tokens. So when taking all the data from the internet, it also means you should not take non-proprietary data. You should exclude any data that is confidential, not copyrighted, and train. After that, you have to clean and process the data so that you have the very, very clean and the sanctity of the data is maintained. So I mean, I can get into the links and show you how each word. So if I say my name is Suneeta, the word my gets converted to a number, name gets converted to a number, every word, okay? So first thing that came to my mind is, why can't they take the dictionary, convert each and every word, 1.56 lakh words in English, plus some more 50K not very commonly used words and just convert? Why do we have to convert everything that is on internet to tokens? Any idea? Anybody read about it? Yes, sure. Yes, little more.
So it's not about the words, it's about the attention which a word is given with respect to the other word. So
Context. Yeah. So we want to store everything as a token. What is token? Simple to understand, just think it's numbers, okay? So everything, so if I take an article from internet, I want to pre-train it and store it, ChatGPT wants to store it, it just converts into a bunch of numbers called as tokens, as simple as that, and store it. So after that, we want to train with human labeled data. So some of you might be doing it. One of my current projects also, just give a piece of code to ChatGPT, say whether it is giving me correct answer or not, otherwise train it with better data. So that's the second stage that we are talking about, supervised fine tuning. Okay, all good. And the last stage is about reinforcement learning. So where we want models to train themselves, get better without any human involvement. Whenever they do a good job, we say, hey, yes, this is correct. Otherwise, there's some word that we use. Anybody here? Loss percentage. So as in when you try to give a better answer, the accuracy factor improves for that model. So these are the three stages that goes behind any LLM, like ChatGPT. I'm using the word ChatGPT. It is a similar process behind Gemini. It is a similar process behind Claude. And different models. So why do you think Claude is becoming more popular in the tech world than ChatGPT? Exactly. Exactly. So when do I go for Gemini Flash? Yeah, marketing analytics and lot of image generation. So it does a very good job. So this way, there is sometimes even, Gemini, Google says, you compare my answers with ChatGPT or Claude and tell me, so that I get better at it. So the next 5 years, probably all of us will be like, oh, I have done this, I've checked this on ChatGPT, I have done this on Gemini, and compare the results and see. So imagine a world you're working with developers who copy paste half code from ChatGPT, another developer who copy pasted from Claude, and both of them are discussing how do we debug next. So, so I copy paste code, but I don't know how to debug. That's also a challenge. So then what happens? There are people who want to do quick POCs who do not want to depend on real coders. Earlier, I used to say, hey, I want an intern who can do this for me end to end from scratch, deploy this on cloud, build a SaaS application for me. Today, we have a lot of tools that we can use and do it ourselves. So let's try one of those and see what we have today. Yeah. Yeah. So if you just see this, right? So whenever you ask something to ChatGPT, what it is doing next token prediction. That's all it is doing. So if I ask Paris is a city in, so it will list out all the probable answers, whichever has the highest probability, it picks up and shows. The moment say France, and if I just write and, then it will try to predict the next word. So how quickly can it predict depends on how efficiently you train. So that is all about a glimpse of what we are getting. So it is very, very important for us to know the basics on how these LLM work. So if you have to do a session, probably we can do a 2-day course, 3-day course on how these LLMs work. But there are a lot of people who have done amazing job consolidating these in terms of YouTube videos, Instagram reels, or whatever it is. So I insist everybody to go and pick your basics on how LLM works. So that is the key message that I would like to, okay, before this, let's see a small custom agent that is created here. Are you able to see? Okay, cool. So this is a custom chat GPT agent that I created. So whenever we are applying for jobs, writing a cover letter is very, very important. But I don't have time to, if I want to apply 10, 20, 30 roles every day, I don't have time to read and customize my cover letter for every job opening. So I've developed an agent. I've trained the agent to know more about this person. Of course, what you're seeing is not my details. So, so I've just put a seasoned leader, tech leader. I have put detailed instructions. So how it has to prepare my cover letter. So I've written a prompt. So if you can see this, why I can't open and show you. Anybody to help? Okay. So anyway, so I want to open this document and show how detailed the prompt is. I'm not able to open the document. Right click. No. Okay, meanwhile, while they're helping me, let's see. So we have to write a detailed prompt and upload the file so that I'm giving the required knowledge to ChatGPT to know about me. After that, I am also telling use web search, use Canvas, or you can use tools from the internet. I want to open this and show you. Okay, that is not happening. Okay, I can do this offline. We can show it to you again also. So what do? I just take the job description of any job that I want to apply, copy the job description here. Let me try doing that at least. If that doesn't open, it is behind the scenes, okay? So let's assume all my users' data is behind the scenes. It's okay, fine. So let's find, this is for director of product, okay? So who is hiring director of products now? So if I say director of product jobs, head of products, okay, let me pick this and just pick the job description from here. So full description. Okay. So I pick this up, I put it here, then ideally it should come up with my cover letter. Let's see what it has to do now. Processing. See, can't I do this on plain ChatGPT? Why do I need to do a custom GPT and AI agent for myself? Because if you remember, all my data will be personal to myself. And every time I need not tell about myself to ChatGPT. I have to the normal prompt. Okay. No, I'm running it from the browser. So you can install it locally if you want. I'm just using it from the browser. It's showing up. Yes. See here. It has generated the cover letter. Okay, sorry. I was not on mic. I think you are able to hear me, right? Okay, cool. So this is the cover letter that ChatGPT has generated for the role that I want to apply as a director of product at ADA. So you can do many ChatGPTs like this, custom ChatGPT, create your own ChatGPT for your project. Okay. One good use case, we don't have time to read n number of PRDs. Oh, I run a big program. We have 70 odd projects. I manage cross-functional teams as a TPM. Where do I have time to read 25 PRDs and 50 ERDs while I'm managing the program as a TPM? Build your custom chat GPT, build your own agent, feed it, ask it to summarize all relevant, group the documents, just get the summary of each PRD, ERD, build your knowledge quickly and be more efficient. That is one way you can do this. It is not difficult. It takes hardly a couple of hours to learn and do this. If we had if you're doing a workshop, we can even show you how all this works step by step. Okay. After 20 years of starting my career, if I'm able to do this in 1 year, everybody can do this. Everybody can do this. Okay. It doesn't matter. You need some kind of understanding of the technical world. You need to understand how coding works. But that doesn't mean you have to code as of today to use ChatGPT. Okay. All right. So the next thing I tried to show you. So I wanted to curate all the TPM sources that we have. There are books, there are blogs, there are interview questions, there are podcasts, there are communities like this where people meet. So I wanted to curate and put everything together for my own learning. And even if somebody comes and says, hey, what are the different sources that are available? So I wanted to curate everything and keep it in a simple website. Okay. In earlier days, if I had to build a website or build a web application, couple of days, then where do I deploy? What do I do? I'm not a UI expert who will tell me the colors, who will tell me the JavaScript fun days. There are so many questions that used to pop up. So I just used lovable.ai. I was able to do this. So you can see how conversative the prompt is. I started with a very basic prompt. Let me show that. Okay. I don't know, is it visible for everybody? So the moment the idea came, I just said, hey, build a website. I said TPM Bay, then it changed. And it should be a learning resource for technical program managers. It should have a section like this, top interview questions. And I want YouTube videos, podcasts. Okay. After that, I started giving more instructions, easy to follow, whatever I wanted, move the sections up and down, change the colors. I wanted to add Priyanka's podcast. I wanted to add Mario's and many other things. I kept on talking. It is like two people interacting, right, for 1 hour. And I was able to come up. I was able to publish and come up with a website that was very quickly up and running for me to see. Now I can share it with anybody and easily, so this gives me a link URL that I can share with anybody, and just the website is up and running. Did I worry about where should I deploy? Did I worry about how many compute servers that I need? What database do I have to use? Nothing. No dependency on developers, no dependency on anybody. Do it yourself. And it is very easy to learn. So like this, are there only 4 tools? There are more than 3,000 tools like this available across different, to build web pages, to build apps, to build designs. So again, um, we should not get stuck and worried. Just learn 1 or 2 that are required for your job. If oh, somebody is an expert, it is okay. Tomorrow when you sit in a presentation, there is one of your TPM comes and says, hey, I have done this awesome presentation using abc.ai. Somebody else says xyz.ai. Do not panic. All of us will eventually know some of the common tools that we should learn, but getting started is the key. Knowing this is very important. Practicing every day is important. Any questions so far? Or I can take questions. We can have 10-15 minutes in the end to have all the questions. Okay, so we spoke so much about machine learning, LLMs. So what about now? Are we still relevant? Do you guys think we are still relevant? After 5 years, are we going to have our TPM jobs? Why is the yes not louder? Okay, so we should be confident. We want to stay relevant. We will stay relevant if we act today. Okay, some of you are already learning, some of you are already in the journey, upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself. Okay, if not, please get started right away. So what I've been trying to show here, you see a lot of content that you're reading, but I would just say, if 2 engineering managers have competing priorities and say, I cannot do this, you have to talk to them and solve it. AI cannot solve it. So if you are, but I'll tell you one benefit you get is, earlier people used to say, you know, you never know, this is very, very hard to code. It takes 8 days, 10 days. In the sprint planning, I thought it takes 4 days, but it is actually taking 14 days, okay? Now that problem will go away. But you have to ensure you have more time in debugging and testing, because everybody is able to generate code like this. So probably your scheduling issues as a TPM, negotiating with people will reduce, but the same amount of effort savings that you got will be required for testing things better. So what is a problem that you guys will see with all these AI generated code? We will talk about that shortly. But the primary thing is, as humans, our decision making ability given in a given situation, knowing the emotions of people, is still relevant in any AI era. So recently I've come across Sesame AI. Last 3 weeks, 3 weeks back, somebody launched Maya. So if I say, it immediately says, what happened? Are you not happy? I'm like, okay, I haven't even started talking to you. So it is sensing what I want to say, even before I say. So AI will go there as well, but still the amount of human judgment will prevail. Okay, so when I say we have an urgent need to upskill, what do we want to do? Don't get worried with the word advanced there. So you need not write machine learning algorithms, but you should know how to use generative AI. You should know how to, some basics of cloud computing, some basics of analyzing data sets. Okay, you cannot depend on a data analyst to generate, analyze a report and give you. So today, if I have to prepare my monthly report, probably I talk to 20 people, spend 2 days in the last minute. Oh, Jira is not updated. Where do I get this metrics from? Running around. All that will change over the years. It will, but if you are not handy, if you don't have the right tools in hand, we'll be soon out of the game. So business and product understanding. So the Amazon structure of say one pizza team, one TPM will go away. Every small engineering team will not have a TPM. So if there are 5 TPMs, probably down the lane we'll have only 3 that are tech savvy, AI savvy. So more strategic thinking. So earlier, there are TPMs who are focused more on the product. Hey, I'm a TPM, I work more on business metrics. I work a lot with business stakeholders. I'm a TPM that who work with engineering stakeholders. That will die down or fade away slowly, slowly, because you should be somebody who understands end to end, understand the business metrics, what moves the needle, and even help your engineering teams. So probably there are TPMs who did even Scrum Master role. You can imagine that will not happen. Now, mostly engineering teams self-manage, they have their own Scrum Masters. So if I cannot be a technical program manager who is a program manager or tracking expert anymore. So the last one, drive the AI with adoption. Okay, so today I learned, tomorrow I want everybody in my team to start learning AI. Probably next day everybody is absent in the office, okay? So please be patient, embrace your journey, set the right goals relevant to the context of your company, of your team, and make sure it is ethically used. Okay, this slide can, I don't know, people might consume this with mixed opinions. So I personally feel when things go right, it's the engineering effort or the product effort. When things go south, it is a TPM who did not handle the project well. So how many of you really went through this? I mean, I have personally gone through this. Yeah. So how do I handle this? Will AI help me in this to an extent? Okay. So, I mean, these slides will be shared. Don't worry about too much text content there. But we are somebody who do not have tangible deliverables most of the times. So I went and influenced a stakeholder. So what? Where do I see it? I can't see it. I made things happen. So I also have high expectations, but nobody reports to me. I have to lead with influence. So so there are a lot of situations where we do this, but there are ways AI can help us. So make sure your reports are generated on time, fancy, nice reports, use the tools, escalate early, predict early, use ChatGPT to write an email better. So a lot of the time, my intention is something, but the tone of my email can be something. So, and I have to go give an explanation because somebody is really upset with the email that I sent. So try to ask ChatGPT, do you think people will get upset with my email? Or even ask Maya, Sesame AI that I was talking about. So just to test out Maya, I said I'm going to talk at a TPM event today. So whatever, how does my tone look when I'm talking? It gave me like, I have 10 things to tell you, please consider this. Okay. So there are a lot of things that we can leverage AI for, prep up, go well, and manage better. Okay, so two important things. There are many things that will evolve and change in TPM role, but I personally feel two things that we have to be uh, really thinking about. So after TPM role has evolved, there's another role that has evolved called product operations. You might be aware, right? So the product also is becoming a very, but if you really see closely, products and TPM have a major overlap. Okay, same way there are a lot of other coordinating roles in business teams that I can do this, I can do that. So if the strict definition or cutoff between what products is doing or TPMs are doing, for that matter, you will see a lot of non-technical program managers becoming technical program managers if they are AI savvy. Okay, if they've learned mastered the game of how to use AI in their daily life as program managers, they can be TPMs. So depending on this, it is going to, we see that the thin line is becoming thinner and thinner. So everybody, especially small companies, they will think twice before hiring a TPM. You're a products manager, can you do my TPM role? You're a TPM role, can you even help my product team? So even in bigger companies, not just smaller companies, be it Google, be it Amazon, be it LinkedIn or Uber or any company. So they will think, how do I optimize, get more from less? So that is where if there are 10 TPM roles open, now probably you'll see 5 or 6 down the lane. So if you can upskill and be the generic TPM who can master and help across, that is what would be helpful. As our process masters, so we have to establish the right policies and process on how to use AI and governance around all the AI policies as TPMs in your organization or in your team is the next key thing we have to be worried about. Two things, there are many more things if we will talk about it shortly, but two things that come to my mind as important aspects. Okay, so probably we are out of the slides now. I don't want to invest more time on slides. Let's use some time as Q&A. How much time left? Sorry. Okay, good. Thanks. I did a good job in closing on time. Okay, so questions. Let's use 15 minutes for a conversational AI session.
So, yeah, hi. Thanks for this session. Okay. So, in one of your slides, you talked about alignment. I feel that is the most important role for TPM to get alignment between teams. Like between teams, one team's priority is not other team's priority. That
AI cannot do anything.
anything, right? I mean, how do we effectively get that alignment? Half the time, as a program manager, TPM is like to get alignment, whether it is business or impact or whatever. It is very difficult because in metrics organizations, everyone has different goals, North Star, and priority.
Yeah, so use AI to clearly call out their goals, and whenever every sprint on sprint or even during a sprint, how it is changing, document it correctly so that you can tell them, hey, we spoke about this. These top 5 are your priorities. Now you're telling 5 became 4, 4 became 7, or whatever it is. One way to effectively document and journal things and use it for alignment. So that is one way of doing it. There are people use multiple skill sets. I know how to manifest something, or I know how to convince somebody he's my buddy. So those social skill will also help, but proper operational way or process way is to having better documentation.
Okay, thanks. I mean, what I felt is like alignment is massaging egos.
Correct. That is what I'm telling you. Massage. See, I have not mastered it so far in 20 years. So, but as a skill of a TPM or a competency, what should I do? Use better documentation and structured documentation. Rest of the techniques is like your social skills, your soft skills. So that is very, very individual. And each one of us are specialized in a different way.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, hi. So in our company, we have leveraged AI to good extent, but what I see problem is, for example, let's take an example of Otter AI. I cannot upload my office content on AI, like the meetings, and there are too many rules regulation which are fed on us. Okay, like there are plethora of tools available, but there are so many compliances in place which is not allowing us to use that. Teams recording, it is most of the places it is not even allowed, so that you have to take manual notes. And similarly with most of the tools, one of the activity which we do is we use AI to do customer communications. Okay, but to get to that point where I can upload my release content to get a customer communication was a pain. So is there anything to solve that?
First, straightforward answer is most of the enterprises are buying licenses for ChatGPT or Claude or relevant. So you have to influence, like he said, right? Bring alignment with your leadership, boss, get the right AI tools for the company. Okay, that is one, which we can use. Okay, second thing is like creating your custom agents. Say, even if you are using, depending on what type of data you are uploading. So for example, the ChatGPT agent that I created is personal to me. So even though nobody using ChatGPT can see what I have logged in. So you can align on practices. Yeah, you can align on practices that will help you safely use AI in your companies. Get approval for the tools that you want to use if you don't have enterprise level tools available already.
But do companies always say that build your own pipeline for those kind of tools? It adds to the extra effort. Like for taking in input from Confluence, we have to develop a Confluence RAG in-house to use it, not to use the one which is outside because of the security threats which enterprise perceive.
Agree. Any time any tool that comes in, there is an initial investment, there is initial effort, there is initial learning curve. But when you evaluate the long-term benefits, it will be good to have it. Somebody from there was asking. I'll just go there and come. Sure. I think you're loud enough, this room. You can talk.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for this insightful session. I want to add a couple of points
Sure.
to this. So I do leverage Notebook LM. It's quite effective, and you can add multiple documents, summarize them together. So as a TPM, that is super helpful for me. So I use it like a pro. And second thing is, I strongly feel the next wave or next biggest opportunity for TPMs is doing the process transformation using AI, right? So we can all figure out that in our organization processes, where all we can start adding AI, right? And take leadership position over there, right? That's the next biggest opportunity, and that is going to establish ourselves as AI leaders within our own organization. So we should definitely look at that.
Thanks for sharing. Anybody who is effectively already using AI in their respective work streams and seeing benefits? Okay, I'll just come.
Yeah, so great. Thank you. Great session on the AI usage. Could you please touch a bit upon the risk management part that where AI can help and how can we leverage that?
Okay, so what type of risk? Can you elaborate?
So
Risk can be in the format, multiple forms and shape.
yeah, majorly like at a program level, like when I'm planning for the program.
Schedule risk or people risk? What type of risk are you handling?
Majorly on the people risk part, on the program side of it, if there are cross team dependencies. So as a program manager, I do know that, okay, if I'm having some upstream dependencies, I have to ensure that those timelines are properly built in and all those things. So how can I like automate those scenarios and use AI for that?
Okay, there are tools that will help you automate and help you plan better. But one good thing is earlier, say I had a high dependency on somebody who knows React.js to come and write that code. If he goes on leave, will it slip my program deadlines? May not be. A Java guy will sit and write that. Okay. So schedule related risk will slightly come down. But I might have to give him 2-3 hours to figure out what is happening and then write code. So the kind of contingencies that we add on schedule for risk calculation will improve and get better. So can I do this through an automation? Yes. There are a lot of named tools, but again, it is very organization specific what your organization allows.
Okay.
So the other risk, say budgeting risk or quality risk. Quality risk, I'm little worried because even though I build faster, fail faster, look faster, am I really building an AI safe application for my organization? I don't know whether we already have answers. We are figuring out. So those risks will continue. I don't think we can automate that. But in terms of schedule, cost, or people, there are ways to automate and look better at it, get better at it.
Thank you so much.
Something you wanted to share, right?
Yeah, basically, you asked for like if anybody has implemented. So in last 3 months, I think I was able to convince Walmart to implement. We have implemented around 8 different AI models. Primarily, it is Microsoft Copilot across all tools, but for coding and merging, so we have implemented Codo. So it's like a entire CI/CD pipeline is now automated. Like it will not let you check in your code unless and until you write the unit test cases. The only challenge I saw was the biggest challenge, convincing the security and compliance teams, because they were like apprehending like code is a proprietary property, it will get exposed, highly sensitive data and all that. But there are ways to.
Enterprise version that is just for
Even then.
even then.
Even then. So the way I convinced them was that we actually removed all the database keys from the code per se and isolated them in a different key vault. And that key vault is not exposed to anyone. So the code is proprietary, but code is not exposing your data, which is highly sensitive. So basically the application is not highly sensitive, the data is, and that is residing separately. So that's how I convinced. I was able to crash the timelines, to be honest.
Okay. Yes. All right. Who's going next? Sure. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So around that, so we have product manager as a role. We have technical program manager as another role. How do you see these two roles shaping up in future, right? Like there are overlaps, and with
Yes.
the advent of AI, it is now becoming
Yeah.
a bit more common.
Even as
So
a TPM, you might be doing a pseudo engineering manager role, do pseudo product manager
yeah,
role based on the need in your company, right?
correct.
If you have that, what do you call, intent, interest, passion about learning the business and the product,
Mhm.
it is not difficult to do a product manager job. Now you can even generate the first version of your PRD generation has become very easy. Generating a PRFAQ document. So PRFAQ is an Amazon term. Don't get worried. If I have to talk about a feature that I'm building to press, how do I tell to every layman and every common man is what gets into PRFAQ, by the way. So that has PRFAQ can be generated using AI. So if you are really keen on, I am interested to see how this feature is built, or I want to define how a feature will be built, definitely you can be a product plus program manager.
Okay.
That I'll go there and come. Yeah.
Uh, I have a question. Basically, my background is that I'm into project program management, and I slowly transitioned to TPM, and I'm playing. Currently, I'm leading the data and AI capabilities we are building, right? But I always see that somehow there is a like a fear as a because coming from a project program management background, I'm a PMP certified, and all the domain skills, whatever is needed, and we are always there to acquire whatever the technology we are entering in, and at least to like low code, no code, more of like though we don't code, but at least as long as you understand the technical terminology and you are driving effectively the teams, all the cross functional teams, right? But I still feel that whether because these days I'm feeling that is that project program management or technical program, whatever you call the T's, right, valued low. Why? I mean, these days I'm observing, right, because there is, I do understand there is intersection, especially as a cross functional leader when you calling as a TPM, there is a bit of product management side of it, and there is a bit of engineering, and when you are playing, right? So is this TPM role, like the first question which you asked, that is it going to exist, right? I mean, I understand as a not only TPM, anyone who collaborates with AI and works, there is a future, there's no doubt. But if you see, as you rightly mentioned, in the larger organizations, TPMs, definitely there is a scope for a lot of stuff. But as you rightly mentioned, that one of the pain point area is that when things happening good, engineering leader take the credit, or a product leader or a product management side,
What
right? So
exactly is the worry? What are you
my
worried?
concern is that like I understand, I feel that the TPM, the VP or senior VP or whoever, like could be reporting to a COO, right, or anybody for that chief, right? So somewhere we should give that how we going to bring the value, or some more. I feel like a TPM is like at times ignored, or like they feel that we are stepping into their shoes, and we are taking, they always feel that hijacking that I am taking over the engineering manager role, or like I'm stepping into product manager role, right? So that
So
is like how are we going to solve it, because this is a community, right? So just wanted
true.
to understand from the leaders aspect as we have here.
See,
So
it is about how you can influence your business leaders with the right understanding. Even as TPMs today, right? Doing my day job is one part of it. I know who are my business stakeholders, engineering stakeholders, or product stakeholders. I always work with them to figure out what is one thing that they want to do but they're not able to do. Okay, and how can I help them? So that what we do today will remain tomorrow also, whether it is AI, no AI. But it is up to individual on how you safeguard your position, how you influence your leadership.
that I'm doing. But as a TPM, we are responsible for the first thing is the governance through metrics, right? At the same time, when as a TPM, when joining a team, right, if you see anything, what is defined by the product leader or product management, right? Once if what and why is defined, that's when we enter into picture,
Correct.
right? And they know in such.
You know
if
what? Let me interrupt you a little bit. The why is never defined correctly 80% of the times. TPMs go figure out the why correctly talking about people. We'll do one thing. Actually, I see a lot of interesting points coming up through this discussion. In our next break, we will talk about it in detail.
Sure.
We have like 3-4 minutes left. I'll cover up. We will discuss. Yeah. It is not easy to close that why and what.
Thanks, Sunita, for the insightful session. So, what has been your experience in while leveraging AI to build code on existing code base? So, our organization, we have moved really fast, and we have recently, started leveraging cloud and a few other AI tools. But the experience is not very good when it comes to developing on top of some existing legacy code base, and it's real quick for doing something very from scratch. So how has been your organization?
Whatever I showed you is from scratch, by the way. That's why I could do it faster and show you guys here. So if you generate code from, say, any Claude or ChatGPT and apply in the existing code all your variables, whatever, it does not understand your previous context. So that is where your mastering of prompt engineering comes into picture. How do you define the right context? So people think prompt is 1 line, 2 line. Prompt can be even 100 lines. Explaining the right context, setting the right, oh, it is a microservices application. It has an upstream dependency on X. It has a downstream dependency on Y. The database is this. So how clearly you define your prompt defines how efficiently you can use AI generated code on top of an existing application. And that is a key message I want to pass on. That doesn't mean you get the code right for the first time. Like I copy paste and it starts deploying, no. But it will help you tune your prompt more and more and teach those learnings with all the other members who are trying to generate code like that. So that's where learning how to give right prompts or create right prompts matters.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. I don't know who raised first, but yeah, I did not notice.
So I have one question for you, and this is what I've been hearing about Query GPT, which Uber uses. So in fact, we also make a lot of queries. As a TPM, we also make a lot of queries to pull out reports.
I have to pause you. I cannot represent Uber here. Sorry. But yeah, we can chat offline on a networking break to share some insights. But this is purely from TPM Trails that I'm here, not from Uber.
Hey, hi, I'm Selvam. So I have one very simple question. Okay, so as you said, like the TPMs over the next 2 to 3 years, like they have to be more strategic, and now we depend on a lot of AI tools. And I do have a question on that. Like when we take AI as a companion, and don't you think that it is going to, over a period of time, it is going to be an over dependent on any kinds of decision making that we are going to use for AI tools? And like, how do we actually cope up with, whenever we take some decisions that is not biased or like over dependent or over, dependent on the AI tools for automation? Like, what is your view and thoughts of it?
See, your natural talent is your natural talent. Just because, so sometimes, no, even I have that confusion, right? Even I know the answer for some question. I used to go to Google search and say, yeah, it is correct. Now let me go answer it. Okay. So similarly, tomorrow, even if you know something, you might say, let me ask ChatGPT and confirm. Okay. Ideally, we should not be doing. That is a human tendency because we always want to be right.
And we also don't know, like, how far it is accurate on giving.
Okay, the best part here is human judgment is what you have to rely on. If all of you take your phone and ask ChatGPT the same question, do you know how many different answers we will get?
You have different perspectives, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not. ChatGPT doesn't have anything called perspective. It is all mathematics. It's all token generation. Just that the prediction model from where it is picking the next token will be different. The probability of the token that is coming will be different. Whereas if I ask 10 humans, there is a high chance that 7, 8 of them, I mean, similar grouping experts, their way of thinking might match more than ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT or any kind of LLM is all a number game. So it can train based on what you are telling. So please do not leave human judgment and human learning completely to AI.
I should be a problem solver, and that
Yes,
should be the
yes.
key pocket skill.
You have
Anytime.
to be today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, anytime.
Anytime.
You have to be a problem solver.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the session. I'm Vasanthi from Tesco. I work as a TPM there. So I am someone who uses ChatGPT almost daily just to ensure all my communication is politically correct because I interact with stakeholders, vendors. So I feel because I see the benefits of it. Because of ways of working and stuff like that, and it's worked wonders, and I've got like great feedback from everyone. But I still feel as an individual, as a TPM, it's very minimal I use. So from your perspective as a TPM leader, what will you suggest for someone like me to start thinking beyond a role, how it can impact like a program or the role in itself? What should I start thinking beyond ChatGPT? Like just for, yeah.
I mean, what skills you have to
Skills,
acquire?
yes.
Yeah, one thing is you're using it for better communication, definitely. So one suggestion I have is different situation journaling. Okay. So probably a situation where you have not done an effective job, you're sitting and thinking. So you can even ask one of these deep learning models, reasoning models, what could I have done better in this situation? See, a lot of people, I mean, ideally you should go sit and discuss with another person also, but these models can also help how differently you could have done something, what you could have done. So that is one way you can start. And again, depending on the scope of work, what you do in your organization, how you can help others get better at their work. That's one. Self-help and helping others, both. So this situational getting better at things. A lot of us, when things go right, they want to go say, hey, I've done this brilliantly, I got this award. When I goof up something, at least go tell Claude or ChatGPT and say, how can I get better at it next time? If you don't want to discuss and like with humans.
There's one more question I wanted to ask. From your experience, what you've seen your TPMs, like people in Uber, use AI and which you appreciated or think that others should adopt as well?
See, I would say we are using a lot of tools, but again, as I mentioned this to him, right? I'm not authorized to talk about Uber's AI usage here. So that's for a different, probably an Uber session that comes up.
Suneeta?
We are time up, I think. Or, sorry, who called me?
Last.
Okay, okay.
Hey, here. Last. Okay. So in the beginning, you said how many of you are from coding background and non-technical background, right? So obviously, people with technical background will be preferred more. So if I'm speaking on behalf of the people who are not from coding background. How do you think they can stay relevant or have an edge over the technical people in the TPM role?
Upskilling.
I mean, yeah, the easy answer is to learn to code, but is there
No,
any
I'm
other?
not asking you to learn to code. I'm asking you to learn to use the right AI tools. There is a difference. So probably I'm asking you to learn prompt engineering. You need not learn everything in Java, everything in Python, everything in cloud computing. So what is required for your job to be efficient? How can you use prompt engineering to get and right understanding on which tool to use when? That's it. So that is upskilling I'm talking about. So there is no way we can go master. I started writing code in VB.NET. If you ask me now, learn every programming language at $300 or $500, no, not possible. So, but being the word tech savvy becomes AI savvy now. And again, AI also, the number of tools are increasing day by day. Don't get bombarded with, oh my God, how do I learn all this? Just figure out, drill down your options, what is relevant to your job in the next 6 months to 1 year and get started from there. That's it. One at a time. And one problem, yeah, I just want to cover one point. So there is a fear. Somebody was talking to me the other day, probably, hey, what is it you have done? Everything you have picked up from ChatGPT or Lovable or cursor.ai. What is your impact? Can you please write your self input more clearly? I don't understand. So let's be prepared to answer this slowly. So you have to create the right balance.
So probably this question is for everybody, like, to know, do you recommend any resource hub for TPMs for the AI usage with all the limitations that they might have, right? Like some have corporate licenses, some don't, right? And the day-to-day job that the TPMs are doing and how AI can help, them in the day-to-day job and be more efficient and productive, right? So do you have any recommendations for, like, go to this resource hub specifically for TPMs? I mean, AI is for everyone, right? So I'm talking specifically for the TPMs.
For TPM? Yeah, probably I should ask Malvika. Malvika, we should have a TPM hub that is specific on what AI tools. See? So, one last question. Whom do you want to pick first?
So I think the first thing on the users of AI, I think I also want to re-echo the point that since the inception of ChatGPT, I think my conversation with all the partners has up level by 30 to 40% because now I know what is a competitor roadmap can be when I get into product calls. I know how Figma can work through and do magic when I talk to the design team. So that's really helping today. But on the next level, I think most of the people have already covered that piece is what do I do with the LLM today? Because there's enough. I'm halfway through learning Python. I've started seeing how to write and prompt engineering. I'm learning data machine learning, but that's too much to learn. Is so
I've
what is
planned
that?
it thrice in the last 3 years.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So the journey is not getting anywhere, and I'm not really able to materialize anything so far. So
Yeah,
what is
so-
that 5 or 6 things we start doing it, which gives us a sense of achievement and implementation towards the day of job what we are doing today.
Yeah, one suggestion I can give you is wherever you feel, see, as a TPM, right, everybody's strengths, even though we have defined competencies, your strengths and your weaknesses in those competencies is what you know. So wherever you are weak, how do I use AI to get better at that? That is the starting point. For example, I cannot write very fancy emails. Okay, mine, I'm a straight shooter to the point. Okay, but a lot of people don't like it. So that's where I'm using AI to improve that. So start with that because I have put my own. Oh, by the way, Prasanna Jolly is employee of Intuit. She's my learning partner. We keep doing a lot of courses together. So we have put a learning plan. Let's do this in ML. Let's do this in AI for many times in the last 2 years. With the kind of responsibilities at home, at job, and whatnot, we never finished it. Okay, so if you have put your 5-year plan, 10-year plan, I'll master ML, I'll write algorithms, I'll write LLM. No, I don't think until unless you are, I mean, it's doable, but the time you invest, the energy that you invest. Best thing is to start with how can I help my own weaknesses and the competencies that I'm not very good at. Leveraging AI is one to start with. Then you build upon it as you want.
Makes sense.
All right, I've written down my question so that I communicate better.
Nice.
So, as you said, right, by leveraging AI, we can take up roles like product manager or engineering manager, or at least we can become pseudo PM or pseudo engineering manager, right? But by doing that, you still are a pseudo. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
become a proper PM or a proper EM, right?
You don't get EM salary.
Yeah, exactly. So if I just remain focused on being process master by leveraging AI, is my job still threatened 5 years down the line?
If you are just process oriented,
By leveraging it, yeah. I mean, TPMs are basically the process masters, right? So
that's a difficult question that you're asking. You are relevant because you are doing your program management job. But if you do not have the right AI skills, can you talk in the language of the new gen developers, the data science engineering graduate that comes out of college and sits and codes? Are you in a position to talk to them? So that is also important, right? How you come in. So as TPMs, we have to talk to a fresher out of college to a VP of a department. So until unless you understand what these guys are learning and coming out and doing here, staying relevant will become a challenge. Okay. So for all the senior folks here, people who say I have 20 years of experience, I've stopped coding 10 years ago, I'm all purely into management, probably that implies we are soon becoming irrelevant to the market. Please know this. So that applies to me also when I say I have 20 years of experience. You have to talk to Gen Z or the generation after that, people who are, my brother's son is doing engineering in data science and AI. So tomorrow when he graduates, say he joins a corporate, he asks me a question. If I say, oh, I don't know, I studied mechanical engineering, I don't know what you're talking, he'll say, what is this? You say you're working in whatever XYZ company and you don't know this. So let's be prepared. There is no pure management. There is without the right technical acumen. Cool. Probably we'll do more in the networking session and the break time we have over lunch. Thanks a lot for having me here. Nice talking to all of you.